We're here today with Roger Banerji, CMO at Tata Consulting Services, or TCS, for the life sciences, manufacturing, and energy sectors. Roger, welcome.
Thank you. Good to be here. Thanks for having me, Ralph.
Oh, you're quite welcome. Could you talk a little bit about the role of marketing in the areas you cover at TCS?
Yeah, I think good first question, Ralph. I think it's really evolving as a key strategic function within TCS overall, and certainly within our business group. And when I say key strategic function, really aimed at delivering business value, which in our parlance is indexed to thought leadership, manifestation of integration and value messaging, branding and visibility. I often look at this function as an MVP model, right? A function that helps us enhance our messaging of our solutions and themes, validation of our storylines, and positioning of our value proposition. And we really manifest this via a number of initiatives, including thought leadership, via academia. We certainly work with analysts. As you well know, we work a great relationship with you guys, with the advisory community, bespoke events, media, via our account-based marketing, content and asset creation, and of course, a significant number of initiatives in digital marketing as well. So that, in essence, really is the overall paraphernalia of what we do.
Interesting. Could you add a little bit more color about this thought leadership, specifically around the area of TCS, the IT services?
Yeah, I think, let me bring it down to the parlance of our business group. I think in order for us to manifest thought leadership, I think the fundamental task really is to identify and procure assets in the marketplace that allow us to do that. And having done this for the last 4 or 5 years, I think we are at the point where we can pretty confidently say that thought leadership today is manifested via a number of assets. A lot of the work that's going on with academia, the MIT think tanks, as you know, you guys have been a part of that with us, really bringing together a confluence of academia with industry, practitioners, TCS leadership, and clients and prospects. With thematic calls that we have with our analyst friends in terms of deep dive solution-based calls. A lot of work going on in terms of manifesting thought leadership via the digital platforms, LinkedIn in particular, a lot of blogs going on via sponsored posts. We do a lot of work in terms of multifaceted global trend studies and then verticalizing those trend studies for our specific units. So a lot of work is going on in that aspect. The other thing that's really taken off for us, Ralph, is thought leadership via bespokes and via sponsored events, especially getting the keynote slots and the plenary sessions and utilizing those and leveraging those platforms to showcase our solutions and themes, either presenting a TCS executive or one of our clients to come and speak at the main sessions, especially on day one and in the first morning sessions when audience resonance is the highest. So it's really 7 days, 7 ways almost, kind of a syndrome where we're manifesting via various platforms.
Boy, that sounds like a very robust and extensive program. Could you talk a little bit more about how important you feel third-party collaboration is for your marketing programs?
I think it's critical, right? I think the magic in marketing today is not to say we are the best. I really think it's for others to say that you're also the best, right? And it has to be multifaceted. And in that respect, securing ink spots via confidence indicators, I think, is a key aspect of our third-party collaboration. As you know, we participate in a lot of the marketscapes and peak matrices and what have you, and we secured pretty significant success in those areas. I think that's important from a business standpoint. I think the other factors that add to that paraphernalia, obviously, is to work with event organizers to try and get those key hotspots so that we get to say what we want to say at the appropriate time of an event. We're also working very closely with the analyst community in terms of strategy days, both internal and external, in terms of anecdotal validation of our footprints in the business. I mentioned to you a little bit about the MIT think tank. Once again, working with academia, working with the likes of MIT Sloan Management Review and securing real estate via some executive viewpoints. I think that's important, and it's gained some traction. We're also showcasing our thought leadership via other publications, marquee publications such as CIO Review, CIO Magazine, business viewpoints in terms of specific case studies. I think all of that is really adding up and helping us really propagate the storylines a little bit more effectively.
Really neat. Nowadays, in marketing, content is becoming increasingly important for a variety of reasons. Stuff on your website for people to read, search engine optimization, et cetera, et cetera. Could you talk a little bit about what it takes to build up a strong content marketing strategy?
Great question. I really think it's very fundamental to an effective marketing program, right? I think the intellectual gravitas and the capital that you display is really indexed to four key factors. First and foremost is who's the target audience and what is the objective of carving out a content strategy, right? Can we deliver the right content at the right time and at the right place? I think that's step one. Step two really is, as marketers, we really are not in a position to craft out intellectual capital. For that, we need domain/subject matter experts. So getting the alignment, getting the collaboration with subject matter experts to showcase that value proposition is extremely key. Point number three is having put some things in place, how do you socialize and how do you amplify the content, right? Both internally and externally, we have various mediums and platforms. And having done the first three, Ralph, I think it's extremely critical to continue to gauge the effectiveness and the ROI and the target audience resonance, right? We have put in place a concept called Lifecycle value of assets. Here we are creating tons and tons of content. How much of that is being looked at? What are the hits? What are the rates? And how long do we need to keep a content on the shelf or a piece of content on the shelf? So I would fundamentally say that these are the four key steps in terms of an effective content marketing strategy.
Very good. Of course, technology is impacting us all the time, and there's a lot of change going on in terms of how you market and stuff like that. Could you talk for a moment a little bit about how digital marketing is evolving in the current environment?
Absolutely. I think it's once again very fundamental name of the game. And I'd like to take a look at the digital aspect of marketing and sort of bifurcate that in two aspects. One is the internal aspect of digital marketing, the other is external. If you look at it internally, obviously monthly newsletters, standard content that is being hosted on the website, the revamp, revisitation of that content. Videos are a big part of it now, both internal and external. Blogs that are being showcased via LinkedIn, both organic posts as well as sponsored posts. We also have invested significant amount of intellectual capital into global trend studies, taking those global trend studies and verticalizing those, as I mentioned earlier, and showcasing them to the markets for life sciences, for manufacturing, for oil and gas. All of that is being done digitally. And the other thing is with events, right? I think there's a digital aspect to how you ramp up an event these days. The pre-event ramp up, live tweets going on during the course of an event, and then what happens after the event. So the pre, post, as well as during event blame. So I think it's a very well ring-fenced digital strategy that we have in place. I'm obviously not talking about the standard work in digital in terms of what we do on the links and all, but I think internally and externally, the use of infographics, for example, I think is really catching steam, not just in terms of external content, but also internally. We tend to be using quite a bit of that. So I think it's beginning to fall in place. Obviously, it's work in progress, and we continue to improve and get the best from the marketplace and try and see how best to do that.
Yeah, I've recently read the report you did on the industrial IoT and the extensive surveys you did, and this has turned into a 100-page document or so, but it's very detailed, a lot of good information in it, very credible because of the market research that went behind it. There's numbers behind it to substantiate the conclusions.
Yeah, we're excited about that.
Yeah, very good thought leadership piece. So that's something you did in 2015, and now is being published and continues to be published. What do you got going up for 2016 for this year?
Lots of things, certainly to continue and build on the platform from last year, but specifically, I think a few things certainly stick out. I think omni-channel marketing, I think is one way to look at it moving forward. Mobile applications, right? Delivering on-demand content for our client partners in the field. Mobile video marketing. I think videos certainly are displacing the other forms of content marketing now to a large extent. I think collaborative thought leadership, Ralph. I see a lot of work going on in terms of leveraging the influencer community, including academia, in terms of embellishing our intellectual capital. Competitive intelligence, I think that's taking a lot of steam and picking up steam, especially during business planning sessions. What is it that we should be looking at in terms of the competitive landscape of websites, thought leadership, assets, content, branding, what have you. And I think the next frontier in marketing is really looking at branding. What is the brand equity index? And we've got a tremendous number of success stories as far as TCS is concerned. But as far as our business group is concerned, also trying to dovetail some of the brand studies and the branding studies to see what our brand really looks like. I think those are some of the things that are happening. Peer networking, I think, in the marketplace is very important. Working with partners like you to find out what really is going on and what we should be doing more of. Personalization of messaging, I think, is becoming more important. You see a lot of that via blogs on LinkedIn now. And localization of marketing campaigns, I think those are some of the things that stick out and stand out.
Wow. That's very comprehensive. Thank you for talking with us today.
Thanks for taking the time. Good to talk to you as always.
We've been talking with Raja Banerji, CMO for the life sciences, manufacturing, energy, and resources sectors at Tata Consultancy Services. The subject is value-driven marketing for the 21st century.